You will always find an answer in the sound of water. In my heart's most secret place, I pity them as angels do. I believe in spectacles, but I think eyes necessary too.
Those who wish to read always find a book. There are new chapters, new pages, and new journey to embark on. Courage is feeling fear, not getting rid of fear, and taking action in the face of fear. Keep your face to the sunshine and you cannot see a shadow. Never hold tightly onto the past, because it will only limit your ability to move forward. Focus on your goals, not your fear. Focus like a laser beam on your goals. For it is scars that show us where we've been. Let them not dictate where we are going.
Convictions are more dangerous foes of truth than lies.
No man can be a failure if he thinks he's a success. If he thinks he is a winner, then he is. Your own positive future begins in this moment. All you have is right now. Every goal is possible from here. Give me the facts, and I will determine my own truths. I have so much to share with the world. Please be patient, and you will get everything you're currently waiting for. Life is a long, agonized illness only curable by death. I distrust every idea that doesn't seem obsolete and grotesque to my contemporary. Playing it safe is the most dangerous thing you can do in life. The life of the enemy. Whoever lives for the sake of combating an enemy has an interest in the enemy's staying alive. Keep your friends close, your enemies even closer.
No amount of experimentation can ever prove me right. A single experiment can prove me wrong.
Play around, dive into absurdity and write. Take chances. You will succeed if you're fearless of failure. There are times I wish I were invisible, which is silly since I do everything I can to stand out. Mistakes are stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. Learn from them and move forward.
Never get bitter. Life is a medley of good and bad ingredients.
Having perfected our disguise, we spend our lives searching for someone we don't fool. The pursuit of truth and beauty is a sphere of activity in which we are permitted to remain children all our lives. He who knows that enough is enough will always have enough. When you think you're right, you're most likely wrong.
To have a human form of a joyful thing, but in the universe of possible forms, there are others just as good.
Success will be within your reach, only when you start reaching out for it.
If you can't enjoy what you have, you can't enjoy more of it.
The opportunity to secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hands. I want to drag knives over my skin, just to feel something other than shame, but I'm not even brave enough for that. The revolution is not an apple that falls when ripe. You have to make it fall.
True friends are always together in spirit. Lucy Maud Montgomery.
If you're affected by peer pressure, you're literally not being yourself. See yourself as you really are. Accept the good and the bad. Only then can you truly share yourself with another. Sometimes life doesn't happen in chronological order. Forgiveness doesn't have to be when they are sorry, but when you show compassion to those who don't deserve it. Life is a journey that necessitates progress. Keep moving, because each step brings you closer to your goals.
We all have the beast in us, Bill, and it is up to us to control it.
Realize that everything connects to everything else.
Common sense is the collection of prejudices acquired by age 18.
If you try to change it, you will ruin it. Try to hold it, and you will lose it.
Better a diamond with a flaw than a pebble without.
Having the best doesn't make you the best, but producing the best makes you the best. When people try to tell you who you are, don't believe them. The future is something which everyone reaches at the rate of 60 minutes an hour. Whatever he does, whoever he is.
I wouldn't have missed a single minute of it, not for the whole world.
If you think you can do a thing, or think you can't do a thing, you're right.
Great knowledge is universal. Small knowledge is limited. Great words are inspiring. Small words are chatter.
The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. If we didn't fear the truths we didn't hear, we'd lose the need to fear the ones we did. It is not hard to walk without looking. It is hard to walk without seeing. A religion which cannot benefit a person before death cannot benefit him after death either. But this wealth of information produced little or no insight. It takes drive and focus to move from potential to reality. Each man should frame life so that at some future hour fact and his dreaming meet. 10 years from now, make sure you can say that you chose your life, you didn't settle for it.
10 seconds. That's all it takes for life to throw you a curveball. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it.
Life is a dream from which we all must wake before we can dream again. Integrity is a powerful force, keeping you alive to others long after you've left their presence.
It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters. If you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito.
I think it's important to hold a mirror up to society and yourself.
I don't think of all the misery, but of the beauty that still remains. Good order results spontaneously when things are let alone.
If you are a giver, remember to learn your limits, because the takers don't have any.
Take care with the end as you do with the beginning.
To be even-minded is the greatest virtue. Wisdom is to speak the truth and act in keeping with its nature.
It is the certainty that they possess the truth that makes men cruel.
The spirit of a man is constructed out of his choices. The strongest people are not those who show strength in front of us, but those who fight battles we know nothing about.
It is a very natural human trait to destroy that which frightens us.
One must work and dare if one really wants to live.
Take the first step, no more, no less, and the next will be revealed.
There comes a time in your life when you have to choose to turn the page, write another book, or simply close it.
Remember, if you play small, you stay small. Be not afraid of going slowly. Be afraid only of standing still.
The secret of success in life is for a man to be ready for his opportunity when it comes. Because even if the lie is beautiful, the truth is what you face in the end. Don't panic. It's normal to get lost every once in a while. Caught up in a whirlwind, sometimes winds too get lost.
My fear was not of death itself, but a death without meaning.
If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. People have boldness to criticize, but not to sensitize. Everything smaller than heaven bores us, because only heaven is bigger than our hearts.
Don't bite off more than you can chew, because nobody looks attractive spitting it back out. The way is to man, as rivers and lakes are to fish, the natural condition of life. Creativity is intelligence having fun.
I never expect a perfect work from an imperfect man.
It's good to do uncomfortable things. It's weight training for life.
Making time to experience joy is the single most important thing you can do to heal your heart.
Know thyself, know thy enemy. 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories.
The beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms. I'd found out that if you pushed people away hard enough, they tended to go. Be a surfer, watch the ocean, figure out where the big waves are breaking and adjust accordingly. It takes a huge effort to free yourself from memory. In the face of adversity, we have a choice. We can be bitter or we can be better. Those words are my North Star.
Success usually comes to those who are too busy looking for it.
If it didn't come with being humiliated, it wouldn't be my life at all.
Everything has its beauty, but not everyone sees it.
I believe that a scientist looking at non-scientific problems is just as dumb as the next guy.
But man's duty is to try and endeavor. Success depends upon chance and environments. Death is so terribly final, while life is full of possibilities. If you derive joy in destroying others, you won't go far in life.
Success isn't a result of spontaneous combustion. You must set yourself on fire.
There are routes not to be followed, armies not to be attacked, citadels not to be besieged, territory not to be fought over. Everybody stay positive, no matter how negative life gets.
Those who are wise won't be busy, and those who are too busy can't be wise.
True, life is complex, but so are a great many accidents. People who keep stiff upper lips find that it's damn hard to smile. You get what you focus on, so focus on what you want. Celebrate true friends. They are a part of you that always sparkles.
The test of success is not what you do when you are on top. Success is how high you bounce when you hit the bottom.
There's nothing more frightful than ignorance in action.
There is only one day left, always starting over. It is given to us at dawn and taken away from us at dusk.
The most important thing about a technology is how it changes people. Maybe some things aren't meant to be known. Maybe they're just meant to be accepted.
As architect of your reality, you are empowered to create it as you choose. Thank people who help you because they make you happy. Thank people who don't help you because they make you strong.
Attack is the secret of defense. Defense is the planning of an attack.
A goal without a plan is just a wish.
The language of light can only be decoded by the heart. You can't blame gravity for falling in love. Just remain in the center, watching, and then forget that you are there. If truth doesn't set you free, generosity of spirit will.
There are two ways to live a life: either forget everything or remember nothing. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. A hero is no braver than an ordinary man, but he is brave 5 minutes longer. Gotta keep my head above water. Gotta make it through. It should not matter, of course, that I could be crazy, because as luck would have it, fortune favors me.
Success is defined in units of fun. It's all about being happy. There is no wealth like knowledge, no poverty like ignorance.
All human beings should try to learn before they die what they are running from, and to and why.
One who is too insistent on his own views finds few to agree with him.
Sadness is sometimes the start to eternal happiness. The world is merciless, and it's also very beautiful.
Excuses are merely nails used to build a house of failure. The consequences of every act are included in the act itself.
I would rather die of passion than of boredom.
When you are ignorant of the enemy, but know yourself, your chances of winning or losing are equal. The heart's memory eliminates the bad and magnifies the good.
Life is a magical journey, so travel endlessly to unfold its profound and heart-touching beauty.
A single death is a tragedy. A million deaths is a statistic.
I failed to communicate. That's why I chose to leave. To be truly ignorant, be content with your own knowledge. Admit when you're wrong, shut up when you're right. We are seeds as well as parasites to the earth. We can either give or take, depending on our perception of growth. Perspective is born in the rearview mirror of life. No power on earth, if it labors beneath the burden of fear, and possibly be strong enough to survive. If you want to give yourself a fair chance to succeed, never expect too much too soon. Every existing thing is born without reason, prolongs itself out of weakness, and dies by chance. It had never occurred to me that our lives, which had been so closely interwoven, could unravel with such speed. When no one you know tells the truth, you learn to see under the surface. If you live for people's acceptance, you will die from their rejection. We hold the future still timidly, but perceive it for the first time as a function of our own action. The moment you let go of your discipline is the moment you give up on yourself.
To bear and not to own, to act and not lay claim, to do the work and let it go, for just letting it go is what makes it stay.
Great achievement is usually born of great sacrifice, and is never the result of selfishness. Life gives us choices. You either grab on with both hands and just go for it, or you sit on the sideline. There is no harm in taking a step forward if you are not standing on the mountain's brink.
You are in charge of your own happiness. You don't need to wait for other people's permission to be happy. What is essential in war is victory, not prolonged operations.
If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind.
The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven.
Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. Education is what they equip you with, just in case your dream doesn't work out. The moment you stop trying to become a better person is the moment you start to become worse than what you already are. If life's an exercise in making memories, no one really goes away as long as they are remembered.
You fall because you are human, and rise because you are divine.
I like to set my dreams high. That way, even if I only make it halfway there, it's still pretty darn good.
Don't complain about the snow on your neighbor's roof when your own doorstep is unclean.
And whatever my life had been up to that day, it was another life after that. And that is the gospel truth. Sometimes it's better to stop trying to make sense of things. Life isn't clear-cut. There are always gray areas. We can regard our life as a uselessly disturbing episode in the blissful repose of nothingness. It is not uncommon for people to spend their whole life waiting to start living. Most people gaze neither into the past nor the future. They explore neither truth nor lies. They gaze at the television. Life must not be a novel that is given to us, but one that is made by us. Success sometimes may be defined as a disaster put on hold. Qualified has to be.
Forget injuries. Never forget kindnesses.
The goal of life is to make your heartbeat match the beat of the universe, to match your nature with nature. A bird is safe in its nest, but that is not what its wings are made for. Words are your paintbrush, and your life is the canvas. You can paint whatever you want to paint.
There's no such thing in anyone's life as an unimportant day.
One word of encouragement can be enough to spark someone's motivation to continue with a difficult challenge. In reality, there are no persons, only threads of memories and habits. At the moment of realization, the person ceases. The right way is always the difficult way, but it's the only way that connects us with our soul. Truth strikes us from behind and in the dark, as well as from before and in broad daylight.
There are no second chances in life, except to feel remorse.
I may not have gone where I intended to go, but I think I have ended up where I needed to be.
Desire is half of life. Indifference is half of death.
Being afraid to take chances is scarier than actually doing things that challenge you. You take people, you put them on a journey, you give them peril, you find out who they really are. The only reason for a test is to grow our faith in his ability to help us pass it.
Having nothing to struggle against, they have nothing to struggle for.
Make life easier by living in the present and believing in the future. Memories were short and history unkind. It was the way of the world.
If you're treated like a puppet, find a new ball of string. Everything takes time. Bees have to move very fast to stay still. In the midst of darkness, he alone sees the dawn. In the midst of the soundless, he alone hears harmony.
I'm looking into my past lives. I'm convinced some of them still owe me money.
A wise general makes a point of foraging of the enemy. The only real battle in life is between hanging on and letting go.
Dying is only one thing to be sad over. Living unhappily is something else. Fortune does favor the bold, and you'll never know what you're capable of if you don't try.
No persons are more frequently wrong than those who will not admit they are wrong.
People are almost always better than their neighbors think they are. To know how much there is to know is the beginning of learning to live. People can cry much easier than they can change.
Maturity is when you stop complaining and making excuses and start making changes.
Without causality in the world, there is no point in educating people or making any moral or political appeal. Nothing is necessitated whose opposite is possible. Being liked for the way you looked is worse than not being liked at all.
Your story is remarkable, even if you don't know it yet.
It can take years to mold a dream. It takes only a fraction of a second for it to be shattered. There isn't an endpoint to excellence where you have it and you can stop. Being your best self means keeping on trying. Despite my ghoulish reputation, I really have the heart of a small boy. I keep it in a jar on my desk. Every great cause begins as a movement, becomes a business, and eventually degenerates into a racket. Truth is ever to be found in the simplicity, and not in the multiplicity and confusion of things. Success is a state of mind. If you want success, start thinking of yourself as a success. It is not true that people stop pursuing dreams because they grow old. They grow old because they stop pursuing dreams. From whichever side I start, I think I am in an old place where others have been before me. As long as your ideas of what's possible are limited by what's actual, no other idea has a chance.
If you correct your mind, the rest of your life will fall into place.
Dream your dream and realize that you are more than just the dreamer. You are the point of origin for its reality. Being interesting isn't important, but being happy is, as well as being a person you're proud of. I believe that just because something didn't go the way you planned it once, it's no reason not to try again.
Knowledge of the enemy's dispositions can only be obtained from other men. For them to perceive the advantage of defeating the enemy, they must also have their rewards. Be grateful for what you already have while you pursue your goals.
Hold on to forgiveness, for it frees your heart of resentment and opens the door to healing and peace. I saw the world from the stars' point of view, and it looked unbearably lonely. We have no right to just stand by and watch them tarnish our tomorrow. You only fail when you stop trying. Feeling lost, crazy, and desperate belongs to a good life as much as optimism, certainty, and reason. A stone is heavy and the sand is weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than them both. A wise man gets more use from his enemies than a fool from his friends. Regrets are about decisions that you know you should have done different. Stress is a consequence of negative happenings or impact in life, but important is how to overcome it. Temptation is the feeling we get when encountered by an opportunity to do what we innately know we shouldn't.
Life is more or less a lie, but then again, that's exactly the way we want it to be.
The deeds you do may be the only sermon some persons will hear today. Price of peace could only be valued by people who had suffered loss in the war. That's the problem with memories. You can visit them, but you can't live in them. Acquiring wisdom is great, but it is not the goal. Applying it is. It's the people who never learn the word impossible make history, because they're the ones who keep trying. Reality is what trips you up when you walk around with your eyes closed. I trust that everything happens for a reason, even if we are not wise enough to see it. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. With the truth, all given facts harmonize, but with what is false, the truth soon hits a wrong note.
Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. Not all things that fall down break. Some develop wings.
To make a true choice, we must have true knowledge. After you find out all the things that can go wrong, your life becomes less about living and more about waiting. Unless you realize your true self as the divine, your life is meaningless.
Our society is run by insane people for insane objectives.
Life is like a book. Some chapters are sad, some are happy, but all are necessary for the full story.
Perhaps home is not a place, but simply an irrevocable condition.
You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him find it within himself.
It takes more effort to avoid the truth than it does to face it.
The only thing that makes life possible is permanent, intolerable uncertainty, not knowing what comes next. Losing your life is not the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing is to lose your reason for living. Nobody is wired wrong, because there's no wrong and right in the way we are. What you do doesn't frighten your enemies as much as what you are.
Success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get. An education is not so much about making a living as making a person.
I am always doing what I cannot do yet, in order to learn how to do it.
What is right is not always popular, and what is popular is not always right.
Until justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. You need to find a way to live your life that it doesn't make a mockery of your values.
Hence the saying, the enlightened ruler lays his plans well ahead. The good general cultivates his resources. You're only young once, but you can be immature forever.
If you want to be happy, do not dwell in the past. Do not worry about the future. Focus on living fully in the present.
A tiny change today brings a dramatically different tomorrow.
I can be forced to live without happiness, but I will never consent to live without honor.
Keep their friends close and their enemies closer. Too many doubts grow in the cracks of silence and separation.
Make your interactions with people transformational, not just transactional.